As you know, Phonak has been committed to having hearing solutions for the CROS patient population for many years. The patient that we'll hear from today, Cara Keller, is your typical bi-CROS patient, where she has mild to moderate hearing loss in her better ear and no functional hearing on her poor hearing side.
Well, my hearing loss had progressed. I knew it had. I had all my different coping mechanisms. They were intact. My husband and I had gone to a marriage retreat weekend, a renewal with all these other couples, and the weekend was going great. I had all my little tactics. I knew the speakers, where they like to stand in the room. I'd sit to the right side of the room so I could put my good ear toward the speaker. I could see him. I could read his lips. Until the last day, we were all in this big room together and the priest is leading it. And he said, now I'd like for all of you to turn and face your spouse and we're going to renew your wedding vows. So I looked at my husband, I'm like, and he knew exactly what he had to do because he had been my codependent on him for a lot of my hearing. So the priest says, Cara, will you take Dwayne to be your lovely wedded husband? He mouths the words back to me. I repeat them back to him. And I'm like, okay, 25 years ago, I heard the priest. I said my vows solo. I need to do something now. And so that was my tipping point.
Being in an ENT in a medical practice, we do get a large number of referrals for patients that have hearing loss similar to Cara's, where they've got a better hearing ear and then one ear that is poor hearing. With their friends and family, there can be maybe some mixed messages, mixed set of symptoms where in certain situations they seem to be functioning relatively well, but in other situations communication just falls apart. And I find that often it's because these patients very quickly start to compensate by doing things like getting people off to their better hearing side. While yes, functionally that's helping them to some degree, it's a lot of work. And so at the end of the day, these patients are often very fatigued because they are having to do so much physically, mentally to hear.
The biggest improvement in my life and what I am glad that I've got is the conversation that it has brought back into my life. Conversation is two ways. It's supposed to be two ways. And I am an outgoing person and I have no problem talking, but I was greatly missing the input that was coming to me. I tried to listen, I worked hard to listen, but I missed so much, and that's added such a richness back to me. I hear the sentence the first time. I can go right on with the conversation.
So with CROS II technology, many of the benefits that the patient can expect to achieve will not only be improved localization or lateralization of sound awareness, but a much better ability to manage noisy background situations. When they're driving in cars, when they're out to restaurants, when they're walking down the street, they do not have to now manage because of either the noise source or the signal of interest where they have to position themselves in order to achieve effective, good listening in every environment.
I got in my car and immediately the radio blasted because the radio was set on what it was set on when I arrived pre-hearing aid, and I turned it off, and the road noise and the cars going by and the loudness of my blinker, and it was overwhelming. And I called my 22-year-old son at college, who's a senior. He said, you're going to be fine. And I hung up with him, and it was like, bring it on. Let's go. Loud, noisy, wonderful world. I'm ready for it. And got home, and my daughter's same scenario. The things I could hear, picked up the basketball carpool. I heard everything going on in the car in the back seat. And my daughter, who normally has to relay all those information to me, was looking at me, and I didn't tell her I had the hearing aids. She's just wondering, this is odd. And we got home, and she's like, what's up? And I showed her, I said, I've got the hearing aids in. And the girls just thought it was fabulous. And my 16-year-old daughter immediately sent out a tweet, my mom can hear, and most of her friends probably didn't even realize that I couldn't hear because Miss Keller's just out there and loud and talking, and they didn't know. The closest friends knew. And yes, my daughters now in the morning, if I don't put them in first thing, when I'm down in the kitchen making their breakfast and making their lunches, they'll say, after a couple sentences, they'll go, "You don't have your hearing aids in, go get them."